But tonight there is a special guest in the house. We'd like to acknowledge him and bring him forward and display some of his art form. His name is Tecumseh Robert. He hails from Liberia. Tecumseh Robert.
baby. I want to see you dancing. Come here, lady. Come here, lady. I want to give it to you, rock it to you, suck it to you, sing it to you. I want to see you get down. Well, hello, hello, Africa. Well, hello, hello, Africa. Tell me how you feeling, Africa. Tell me how you feeling, Africa. Tell me how you feeling, Africa now. Tell me how you doing, Africa. Tell me how you feeling, Africa. Tell me how you feeling, Africa. Africa, they broke your heart way from the very, very first start. Africa, they broke your heart way from the very, very first start. Now I want to run my fingers through the sand on the beach of my native land. Wake up to the sunrise on the hills. Happy children playing in the sunshine. Well, hello, hello, Africa. Well, hello, hello, Africa. Tell me how you feeling, Africa. Tell me how you feeling, Africa. Tell me how you doing, Africa now. Tell me how you doing, Africa. Tell me how you feeling, Africa. Tell me how you feeling, Africa.
You know.
Ay, ay, ay. I envision freedom for my people. Yes, I see freedom for all my people. Africans, stop the tribalism. Forget about nepotism. Now's the time for emancipation. Hey, total emancipation. Wake up, wake up, wake up, Africa. Wake up, wake up, wake up, Africa. Wake up, Soweto, Africa. Wake up, Zimbabwe, Africa. Africa, we must come together. Africa, we must let the ladies. Ay, ay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will be discussing the arrival of Councillor Tiawan S. Gongloe into the United States in a little bit. I have my guest, and we will be discussing the trip, what we hope to achieve in doing this trip, and where he's going, where he has been invited to speak as a guest speaker. And we'll also talk about the fundraiser that is coming up very soon. If you are a Gongloeist, you'll be ready to participate in the process. And so we will have you, all of you, to participate in this. And those of you in Liberia listening to me, those of you any part of Grand Jede or any part of the Southeast that is listening to us, and very soon we will be broadcast on 2 radio stations in the Southeast to make sure that the entire Southeast is for Gongloe. And so we will be on Wednesday
and Thursday on Tap FM, and Friday and Saturday on Flash FM. That way we have a large coverage of the Southeast. And those of you who are supporters of Gongloe, we will like you to participate in the process. We will ask you to generously join and contribute to the process. You can be in Liberia and still contribute. But today, I have two guests I'll be introducing in a little bit. But I will play one more song shortly, and then I will bring my guest on today. And these are people who are knowledgeable in the Gongloe movement. They're going to tell you more about the Gongloe we're talking about in a little bit. Just give me a few minutes. All right, let me do this. Let me bring Eric Jesso, and then we'll
yeah. Unega above Aevo Chiso money finit go your money finit go your money finit go your money finit go Aevo your money finit go your money finit go your money finit go. Your money finit go. Oh yeah. Mulia kwe mubayo, mubayo, mubayo. Mulia kwe mubayo, mubayo, mubayo. Mulia kwe mujayo, mujayo, mujayo. Mulia kwe mujayo, mujayo. Ay, baba la mufoya. La quiero, baba la mufoya. La rapeo, la mola mufoya. La quiero, la mola mufoya. La rapeo, the baba people coming, will catch you. Baba people coming, will catch you. Nobody like you, like I do. Nobody like you, like I do. Better days ahead, you enjoy. Better days ahead. I'm a prover, find a prover, come a prover, from a prover, find a prover, find a prover, from a prover. Your money finit go, your money finit go, your money finit go, your money finit go. 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 Mulia kwe mubayo, mubayo, mubayo. Mulia kwe mubayo, mubayo, mubayo. Mulia kwe mujayo, mujayo, mujayo. Mulia kwe mujayo, mujayo. Baba la mufoya, la quiero. Baba la mufoya, la rapero, la mola mufoya, la quiero. La mola mufoya, la rapero. The Baba people coming, will catch you. Baba people coming, see, will catch you. I love you, the fish, the water. I like a pump water. Then you in a alleyway. Don't be talking about your friend. Just pulling at you. You do your own no talking. I do my own talking. I'm gonna live on living so. I'm gonna let my people living so. Your money finit go. 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 Mulia kwe mubayo, mubayo, mubayo. Mulia kwe mubayo, mubayo, mubayo.
Okay. Thank you very much. We're rocking it to Eric Jessel.
We're rocking. We're rocking up our show.
Lovetta was killing it. I don't know, Joe Mullenberg was not dancing. I don't know. Maybe he's thinking about something. But we play some kind of music that you will like. I got some songs here from the place he come from. I'll play some and see whether he would not still dance. But hey, thank you very much, guys. I have two individuals that will be joining me today to discuss the issues surrounding the campaign for the presidential bid of Councillor Tiawan S. Gongloe. And trust me, he was here the last time. He is back, and I want to introduce to you my two panelists for now. Joe Batua is going to be here, and Joe Merlinberg. It's Merlinberg, M-U-H, Merlinberg. Joe Merlinberg is the executive director of the Teams Gongloe, Minnesota. And he's been working very, very hard. In fact, he is still working, and I can tell you that there's an upcoming fundraiser that he's going to be participating in. Fact, the whole of May West and the West Coast, and that means Lovetta is part of us. May West and West Coast are going against East Coast to raise money and see who beat the friend. I think Joe is going to talk about that in a little bit. And Lovetta here is an activist, a political activist. She is also a strong Gongloist. She is in the California chapter of Teams Gongloe Global Movement. And so she has been really, really working hard. She's part of the committees and people that have been in contact with the San Francisco University, and I'm told she's going to tell you that Councillor Gongloe is supposed to be speaking at a program organized by the African Department of San Francisco University. I want to say thank you very much for coming. Let me go straight to Joe. Joe, how you doing today? This is the first time on my show. Lovetta, this is the first time on my show. I used to do this show every day, and then I became very busy. I had two businesses to run in my job, and so I stopped. I'm just coming back again. So basically, we are live on YouTube and Facebook as well. We are also live on Flash FM in Grand Jeddah. So we want to say thank you for coming. Let me start with Joe here. Joe, you are the executive director of Teams Gongloe, Minnesota. Tell us a little bit about Teams Gongloe, Minnesota. How is it part of the whole or different from the whole?
Well, thank you very much, Gibson, for inviting me on your program for the first time. I'm very delighted to be on this program to talk about Teams Gongloe, Minnesota. Again, if you don't know me, my name is Joe Mullenberg, the Executive Director for Teams Gongloe, Minnesota. Teams Gongloe, Minnesota is a political movement in Minnesota here that supports the aims and objectives of Councillor Gongloe Presidency. We do love him. These are a group of Liberians who put themselves together and wants to see a complete transformation in Liberia, and support the agenda of Councillor Gongloe.
So he was here the last time, and he visited Minnesota. He also visited us here in Fargo. What was the spirit like?
Well, the last time when he came here, I considered that as a prelude of what is going to be happening right now. Because the first time he came here, he was an aspirant, and then he has not been elected as a presidential candidate. He came here for us to show him to the people to say, this is the man, this is how he looks like, this is Councillor Gongloe. That was like introducing him to a couple of people here in Minnesota. So that's how we consider that. So that was not very, very big, but it was also okay that he came and people got to know him. And then they decided to sit on the fence and watch to see what would be unfolding. And then since people have been watching to see what would be unfolding, they were delighted when he was elected as a stand-up bearer for the LPP, and so that makes the LPP automatically popular. So right now, he's coming here now. Today is different, so on the 26th, we're going to receive him as a presidential candidate. So he himself will notice that the reception he's getting now in Minnesota, it will completely different from what he got previously when he came here. We're going to give him presidential reception at this time. So that's how you're going to receive.
But Joe, before I even go, why did you even join the bandwagon to support Gongloe? Why did you decide that Gongloe is the best person for this job?
Well, when it comes to me personally, I've been knowing Councillor Gongloe for a very long time before coming to the US. And he and I was in a Catholic church on the Oro, and then specifically part of the Christ the King Catholic Church. And then he's the kind of man who like to see good things happening. I remember when Catholic Church has a program that they call Harvest. During the closing of the year, they always have the Harvest program. So the Harvest program the intention is to raise funds for the church, to help the church. So at that time, I was the chairman for the Harvest Committee, and those I can't remember the year right now. Because was and he supported me a lot. I was surprised when I was suffering from vehicles to make sure people come to the church. I don't time the long coastal buses, and then because to me and said, "Look, I will supply you 2 buses." That's how our friendship came. That's how I started to know him. I said, "What kind of man is this?" And from there, I've been following him. He's been a very nice guy. I can't tell you what all he has done, what I've experienced with him.
Right.
But he's a very, very fabulous man to deal with. So I admire him a lot. So I guess and I've never been in politics in my life. I'm a kind of person who, when it comes to politics, I shy away from it. I only watch, people acting when it comes to politics. But this is my very first time endorsing myself in politics because I wanted to see, I'm very choosy when it comes to politics. So I'm not in any political party. I never joined any group in my entire life. This is my very, very first time. Even during the war in Liberia, and when the war got to Botu, I was already out because I'm a gun phobia. I suffer from gun phobia. So Botu, I was already out of the country. I was in the Ivory Coast. So to see myself now into politics for Gongloe, they must know it's something that is serious. It's something that I want to see happening in the country because I've been on the fence for a very long time. Now I have jumped down the fence. And I believe...
it's good to jump down the fence because the country needs leadership more than anything else. And that's where Lavette comes in. She's a Liberian political activist wanting to see a good leadership in Liberia. Lavette, does that speak to your desire?
Well, the introduction of being a political activist, I like the former speaker said, I'm not a politician. I'm not part of any political party. For the past decade, I have been an activist in my community. I have been a lead campaigner for a war crimes code, justice and accountability, because why? I was in the country when the war started.
Right.
I came here as a refugee, so I became an activist. And so I just want to make it clear that I am not a politician and I'm not part of any political party. However, why am I standing up to support the presidency of Councillor Gongloe? It is because of his track record, because of what this man stands for, and because we share common interest. This is the man who, during his leadership as bar president in Liberia, he was an advocate for justice. He introduced the draft for war crime court in the legislature. And when he was coming to California, and as an advocate, welcoming another advocate in my state.
Yeah, I just imagine that.
Yes. And so therefore, I became part of the group that was here, the Friends of Gongloe, that was planning to welcome him, and just became part of it. I said, this is a man who have sacrificed his life, 45 years of advocacy in Liberia. And the country that we come from, if you didn't kill Mama, if you didn't steal money, nobody celebrates you. So the good people in our society continue to be overshadowed by the bad people. And I said, no. So this time, we need to stand with good people. And Councillor Gongloe is a good man. And for that reason, I took a stand. And I have a quote that I wanted to read.
Yeah, go ahead.
King. He said, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Here we have a man who have never ran a political campaign before, finally taking the lead to say enough is enough. Let me be the change that I desire to see. 45 years of advocacy, sitting over the fence, we say enough is enough. So as an activist, I have come to that point in my journey to say enough is enough. And Gongloe is the best candidate among all of what has been presented for 2023. So this is why I have joined the movement, and there are several other people here that want to see Liberia to be a better place, that want to see Africa to be a better place. So in California, we have people from different walks of life that are part of this movement to welcome Councilor Gongloe here in California.
So what is he going to be doing in California? Because you are on that side. You look excited about this California trip.
I am. So we are very thrilled. Matter of fact, the people are here. They are so excited. His supporters, his friends are not just Liberians. They are people, progressive people, like Americans, Africans, Liberians that want to see change. So with this coming events that we have lined up, I mean, he is busy. He's going to be traveling to several cities, not just one city, but several cities, engaging Liberian, spreading the message of a better Liberia, making people to, having to engage our people. And so this coming visit, he's going to be speaking at the University of San Francisco. This is one of those prestigious prestigious university here in California. The motto of this university is the world change the world from here. That's the motto of the institute. Change the world from here. So the African Study Department, in collaboration with other political departments at the University of San Francisco, is working with the Friends of Gongloe Global to have him come. So they created a platform for him to come to talk about Liberia. So he is the key figure during this upcoming event on November 16 in San Francisco, California. He will be discussing the theme of this event is the past, the present, and the future, and what Gongloe would do to create a new Liberia. We all want a new Liberia. We are tired of singing the same old song: corruption, impunity, lack of development, in spite of all of the wealth and natural resources that we have in the country. So the people that are part of the African Study Department, they are not even Liberians, they are Africans. People from Zimbabwe, people from Uganda, people from Nigeria that have embraced Councilor Gongloe. Matter of fact, they have done their research, and they are the one doing all of the organizing on campus. And so we look forward to this event at the university. In addition,
I'm not sure, but it looks like he's the first African politician or African president, Liberian presidential candidate to ever go to speak to this university. Do you know anything?
No, this is the first.
This is the first. Yeah.
Organized by African study departments, and these are progressive. They are not teaching their student that corruption is okay. They are not teaching their student that you kill my ma, you kill my pa, the man can get away with murder. These are progressive Africans that want to see change. And so they are very passionate about this event and are so excited about the presence of Councilor Gongloe on campus, mainly to engage their students.
We'll come back to you to talk about how we can be a part of it. I think you sent me the RSVP. I think I did it. If I didn't do it, I would try again to see if I would do it. But let me welcome my man, Cllr Ward, is also a talk show host, and he is joining us today for us to deliberate on the second coming of, the second coming of Jesus Christ. I almost said that. I almost said the second coming of Jesus Christ. But the second coming of Councilor Tiawan S. Gongloe. Welcome, Cllr Ward.
Thank you. I'm a little bit getting feedback for your end, but I'm okay. I want to say, Lovetta took along. We didn't talk. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine, but there's an echo. I hope I'm not echoing as I speak. We want Liberian to hear what is about to happen here in America, and we want Liberian to be as excited as I am and as we are, because we want to see.
Let me see where the echo is coming from this side.
So there should be no interruption in our conversation surrounding Councillor Gongloe in America. This is the first time that we want to say enough is enough, that money will not influence our politics. We want to have leaders that have character to govern our people, that we want to see patriotic leaders. We want to see leaders that have sacrificed their lives, made themselves the sacrificial lamb, because Gongloe could have become a millionaire, but he's not a millionaire. They call him the poor man's lawyer.
Are you guys all hearing feedback? Joe, are you hearing feedback?
No, I'm not hearing any feedback yet.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not hearing any feedback. Maybe it was from Warriors end. But let me go back to Joe. We'll come back to you, Lavetta. You talk about the university. We'll come talk about how we can be a part and whether we'll pay money or it's free. We're going to talk about that. But Joe, you also are planning an event. What is it?
Well, we planning like I said initially, we planning the second coming of Councillor Gongloe to Minnesota as a presidential candidate this time. Initially, I told you this time around is different. The first one was introduction, and then for this planning, what we did, the first thing we did, we started engaging people, talking to people, and we had a hall rented this time around. It takes about 250 people in the hall.
That's for the fundraiser, right?
Yeah, for the fundraiser, we had a hall rented, and then we have tickets on sale, and the tickets is $25, and then there will be a lot of food, and when you buy a ticket, once you buy a ticket, you'll be having dinner with Councillor Gongloe, and you can have food and drinks, and then you get on that $25. Almost like we just giving you time to have dinner with Councillor Gongloe. So most of the tickets have been sold already. People have been calling for the tickets out of state. So out of the first 200 tickets that are printed, I sent about close to 70 tickets.
But we are here. You sending all the tickets abroad. We don't even have some yet.
Yes. So what happened is that most of the tickets that went out, people, there's another way they said they want to support Councillor by just buying the tickets. Some of them will not be coming, but there's still space in the hall because they will not be coming. They want to buy the ticket. And then we introduced a method where cash would be would not be too much around. Most of the tickets we pay cash on a zero account. Yeah, so you won't be hindering cash. So we want to monitor this amount because right now
you have the cash out number on the ticket.
Yeah, the cash out number is here. It will be available at the door. I will call the cash out number right away. From here, I will call it. And then what we decided to do again, like while we started this, the Midwest and they decided giving me a call. They said, Joe, we're hearing, a whole lot of things happening in Minnesota. I think this thing it should turn big. We should make sure that the entire Midwest do this, not only Minnesota. So I automatically agree with the Midwest. So now, this time around, it's not Minnesota. It has turned to a competition because the Midwest group called me and they said, we heard that the East is raising $100,000, dollars. In California and the EMEA has $100,000. So, let's put this into a competition. Let's make it a Midwest versus East. So I will get as executive director for Teams Gongloe Minnesota. If the East is hearing me, I will declare this as a competition, between the Midwest and the East. So they are trying to.
So Midwest include Lavette and others, right?
Yeah. So once you're in the Midwest, then she's part of it. So if you're in the Midwest and you're trying to deposit money in the East, you better try to withdraw it now because this is a competition. So now we into competition with the East.
We got empty people bank account here.
Yeah, we overheard that they're trying to raise $100,000. So I learned from the rest of the people here that we should go above $100,000. So now I'm making this announcement. If you're in the Midwest, and this is the entire Midwest issue now versus the East. So when you come into the program, you make sure the minimum amount you have in your pocket is $100. That's what we decided. Besides the ticket, then you can make a personal donation. But you're forced to have $100 minimum.
That's members of the Teams Gongloe's
Midwest.
Yes, Midwest. Those are
all the Midwest people that are coming from out state and those that are in Minnesota. When you enter that hall, when you buy your ticket, $25, you must have $100 with you, and that $100 is going towards your personal support for the program.
And
so
you know me. I'm going to pay my $100. Lavette is going to pay $100 because you know her. how will you know others who might be Gongloe supporters but have not come in the limelight? Or are you restricting yourself to people who are?
No, we restricting people. We encourage people to pay money. We need money from people.
Okay.
So we know ourselves. We support Gongloe, and a lot of people that will be there who do not support Gongloe, and they know we're sending out letters tomorrow to all the churches in Minnesota. All the churches are going to receive letters. Most of the organizations are going to receive letters tomorrow, and then we'll put tickets, letters, and the letters will inform them that will be fundraising program. So we don't want to attach any specific amount on that, so people shy away. But we're telling our own people who know that we are for a cost, come with $100. But there will be fundraising. When people hear about fundraising in America, they know when you're going somewhere, you have to carry money.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. We should know.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
let me hold you there. We'll come back to it, and I want you to put some of your ideas together now, because we'll come back with one more information. Let me go to Warren. Welcome. You've been in and out. I think you're trying to fix your stuff. So is it okay now? Are you still hearing? You are muted. Okay. You still hearing feedback from us?
No, I think it's much better now.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, you're hearing.
I'm happy to be I'm happy to be on your platform, and I want to say thank you to all those that are here supporting Councilor Gongloe. Tomorrow we'll be here. I try to get to Loveto today. I didn't get home, so we'll be here tomorrow on the platform 2 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll be discussing series of topics. And we are happy that the councilor is here. This time around, we want the expectations to be had, not only here, but to be had for the Liberian people. Because the insinuation here is that when you enter the presidential race for the very first time, you cannot win. But you know what? I try to contest, and I try to contest that very strongly that Councilor Gongloe is going to win.
But I mean, if you look at the political trajectory right now, the only person that is capable of winning George Weah at a one-on-one is Gongloe, because if Unity Party candidate Joe Barker goes against Gongloe, definitely Nima is going to vote for Gongloe. I mean George Weah, and then ANC will not support Unity Party, and that will split the opposition bloc. And if it happens with ANC, Unity Party would not support Alexander Cummings, no way. And then Nima will still vote for George Weah. So the only person who both political parties can actually join behind and at the same time vote reach Nima County, Bassa, and other places will be glad to support the opposition bloc is Gongloe. Gongloe, nothing.
And you know, Jerome, the reason I'm saying this, I monitor all of the outlets, and I heard one of my friends, my best friends, I'm not going to call his name. I mean, he was trying to make a critical analysis among the three people. You know, first he called Gongloe, second he called Alexander Cummings and Joe Barker. He said all the negatives about both Cummings and Gongloe.
Right. Yeah.
And then when he went to Joe Barker, he only said the positives. And I wrote in his chat room, you know, man, I don't let anything pass by me that I know that I can react to in the very positive. I said, Lord, you are being biased here. So are you telling me that Joe Barker is positive 100%? Okay, these two guys, they have some negatives. So Joe Barker, he said he's the best. But you know what? We're going to change the parameter. We're going to change this thinking that if you go to election for the very first time, you cannot win. We're going to change that. We got to talk to our people. This is why we are adopting district in Bassa. We're going to take Bassa as a hot cake. Gongloe will win Bassa hands down. I can tell you for sure.
That make me feel like, you know, giggling in myself. You know, what's wrong with you, bro? How can you say things like that on this open channel? You want to make me the jump?
My brother, it's and I know Tupe. I don't know our brother very well, but I know Tupe. When it comes to preparation, you know what? It requires preparation. Gongloe is the messenger. He has the message. You know what happening? Other politicians are trying to now replicate Gongloe's message. But I mean, the train have passed a station. The train have passed a station. We are nowhere around. We're going to hit the ground.
After you talking, I will let Lovell respond to it because you're making me happy. I want to talk before. But let me just say, for those who are listening to us, this is a discussion about the second coming of Councilor Gongloe to the United States to engage with Liberians. And we will bring in another guest who is coming in right now. I'll bring the guests in, but this short video music. Don't go away. Short video music. We are coming from Buchanan. Let's go to Buchanan. This man talking about Basel. Let's talk about Buchanan.
That boy made a pass up with on the feet. Records, baby. A rolling strip to Buchanan. I'm gonna strip to Buchanan. And hello. We see you stand up. My middleware. The flex is so sweet and kind. Baby, I ask you food and you can't be mine. I want to take your bottle straight all the time. I want to tell my mama you too fine. Baby, I will spend my money. Me and you will marry. No trouble, baby, don't worry. I told you for your paco. Then you will buy you Lego. But we're like and then you gotta go. You gotta go. I'm taking you to Buchanan to see my mama. Taking you to Sunset Beach. Have you eat a team? I'm taking you to Buchanan to see my mama. Taking you to Sunset Beach. Have you eat a team? Oh mama, come see my baby. Oh papa, come see my baby. Oh I said Joe, come see my baby. Oh Joe, come see my baby. Oh because of a law, I want to draw who. You said no, you my enter the girl. The way you just drink, I'm losing control. My boo do man. You remember that time when I told you soon that video had the honeymoon? Everything was very fine, everything was cool. Promise you all my heart, was it fooling you? Last time I saw you, I was so confused. Thinking the whole day I didn't eat my food. No one asked me how home, man, I own you. You find time when I talk you the best. You do a lot of people enjoying my boss. Even promise you my I'll pay off. If one day you can understand, we'll not break up. We'll be like a lot to take a separate. I would do my new I will spy your love. I would tell you what walk, I love from my love. Me I love you, love, me I love for a pop. Yeah, me I love for a pop. I'm taking you to Buchanan. I'm taking you to Sunset Beach. Have you eat a team? Now you get the money again. Joe, you get the money again. Joe, you get the money again. Now you get the money again. Let go.
Okay, let's stop the music. You're talking about Buchanan, so I'm happy. I want to play something from Buchanan. We're talking about Buchanan right now. So let me put it to.
No, Jerome, just give me 30 seconds. I know you go to. You know what? The reason I'm very optimistic about Buchanan. Let me give the background. First of all, I participated in the 2017 election, and we still have a very huge, growing population back home. The Buchanan has 5 districts, 5 political districts, and 8 administrative districts. I ran in the bigger district. The bigger district has 3 sections, A, B, and C. And that's the district that LAC is been, operational. When we ran in the election, we have 45,000. From what we have heard, we have 65,000 eligible voters right now. I'm calling on all of the people from Grand Bassa County that are supporting. We have to adapt that district. And that is why preliminarily we have sent our men in the field. They have created cell along the C belt, and they will be going to A, B, and C, and we'll conduct 3 strategic meeting. We're going to keep our people in the field. In the St. John belt, I have a house there. I have made it available for people to lodge there free of charge. We're going to live in the district. We're staying here, but we're going to live in the district. And I'm so glad that today I'm here to let the people know that Gongloe is willing, and I heard it from him. He's willing for collaboration, but this thinking that, Gongloe has to be second president because he knew on the political block, that is not going to work. The Liberian people are going to vote Gongloe 100%. Hallelujah. And that's what I'm saying.
Hallelujah. Can I add on to that? I am not
somebody is preaching.
So excited.
Somebody is preaching in the church here.
I'm excited. I'm excited because you said something. You are very optimistic that Councillor Gongloe will win. And there is every reason to be optimistic because when I look at the circumstances before us, this is the poor man lawyer. He's not a millionaire. He didn't kill your mom to get rich. He didn't see the Liberian people money to be enrich himself to come back and campaign for position. He's an ordinary Liberian. However, his story reminds me of the story in the Bible. That's why I say hallelujah, because it's a spiritual warfare that we are at right now.
Right.
The story of David and Goliath. But people said it was impossible. David took down Goliath and told to some of us who here, we are doing this in faith. And we are campaigning as if our lives depend on it. And we want this man to win because we want our people to be liberated. Because we want a better Liberia beyond Monrovia. We want better Liberia that is possible. And if we know that Councillor Gongloe is the right and suitable candidate. He is the David that will take down Goliath. He is the David that will eradicate corruption. He is the David. So it is a symbolic. The Goliath is corruption. The Goliath is impunity. The Goliath are the people in that country raping our young girls and boys and getting away with crimes. He will go against all of those Goliaths. But we have to.
I want to say hallelujah to that.
Hallelujah. So we, money or no money.
Before I go to
I'm sorry for interrupting you, host, but it's less than 6 months, December 4th, 2021, when the man declared his intention to run. He became number 4. In 6 months, other people have been campaigning for 8 years. With their millions of dollars doing many projects here and there. Liberian people, you cannot allow these people to fool you. They're building school, building hospital, only to come rob your future once you give them position. You will not be fooled this time.
But in January, February, March of this year, when they're talking about presidential candidates, they only used to mention 2 people. Oh, Joe Biden, George Weah, Alexander Cummings. Now today, when they are mentioning presidential candidate, the first name that comes on their list is Tiawan Gongloe. Because the people have realized that this is the opportunity for the transformation of the country. A man who believes in the rights of the people. And he identifies with you, Lovette, because you are a human rights activist. He identifies with you that much. Okay, let me go to Joe. Let's come back to Joe and ask Joe. Joe, how are you? How are we going to? Can you elaborate more on the program? You talk about 100,000, and we are fighting for 100,000. So when the program begins, what date is it on, and what time are we going to be starting the program? Because Liberian people, they get their own time, and white people get their own time.
Yeah. Okay. If I may permit, this is a sample of the ticket I have. You can see on the screen. I have the tickets here printed already with councillor picture on it. And this ticket, when you look at the ticket has, when you purchase the ticket has the date, that is November 26, 2022. And then those open at 5 p.m. And then event starts at 7 p.m. USA time, not African time. In the US, when it says 7 p.m., people start to enter before 7 p.m. So, and the program will be held at Broken Park Community Center, 5600 85th Avenue North, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 55443. That's the address. The address is on. Everything is on the tickets. And also, and then I always advising people, this time, right now is cold in Minnesota. And then, so once you purchase your ticket, you can please start to come in by between 6 to 7. We want to make sure you enter the hall. Because if not, you're not going to have seats. Because most of the tickets are gone. You're not going to have seats. So it's cold, and you wouldn't want to stay outside. So you have to enter on time. And then the councilor comes on the 26th on Monday of that week, he's going to be speaking to the Metro State University. You're going to be speaking there to the students at the university, like the program that will be happening here. So a lot of things that are going on. Like I said initially, there's something we adapted. No cash flow around. And Minnesota you know, in Minnesota, I don't want the cash to be flowing around because this is a serious issue. So we pray, you know, I initiated a style that nobody's going to be receiving physical cash. You know, all this money for the tickets.
If I bring my cash, how do I? There are some people who
you use our cash app. Our cash app, like for example, the $FOG Minnesota.
Yes.
That is cash app. $. You can, if you bring your cash, everybody have the cash app on the phone in the US. You know, so we can encourage you to just put your cash app.
So this is no longer a specific group that is doing it now, but everybody in the Midwest now is putting a hand around this fundraising.
Definitely, the entire Midwest now is not Minnesota anymore. It has gone beyond Minnesota. So tickets have already been sent out. Like today, I sent 30 tickets out and out of state already today in North Dakota. 30 initial 30 tickets went out, and then more is expected to go out. So those tickets that went out, they call for it with the intention of people are not coming, and they want to support, and they support Cllr Gongloe, but they won't be able to come because of the job schedule. So now 30 tickets, people will just cash out the money directly on our cash app. We have our Zelle account also, and the Zelle account is Teams Gongloe Minnesota @gmail.com. That is our Zelle account. So if you have Zelle, you can put our Zelle account or the cash app account. So this money, we want to make sure that it's being monitored by our executive. You know, so we don't want people handling cash, because sometimes you have your own cash, you may not know how much you have. It has happened to me at times. I don't check my money. So when you're selling tickets and you miss your cash, our ticket money could mix with your money, and then you don't know how much is your money. So it'll be difficult to differentiate the two accounts. So now when you're doing direct cash app, you can easily monitor the money that we're making from the cash. So because of accountability, that's, you know, Cllr Gongloe is a man that we respect when it comes to integrity and accountability. So once you pay your money to cash app, we encourage you to post your receipt in the chat room. So when you pay cash app, forward your receipt in the chat room. Because when you put your receipt in the chat room, even at 500 receipts in the chat room, the entire chat room will know how much we have on the cash app account. So we believe in transparency. We don't believe in hiding anything. So people who in our chat room, whether you pay your contributor or not, you will see the direct report in our chat room what money we pay. And then something else we're doing.
Yes.
I receive a lot of calls, you know, that look, every program in Minnesota these days, we don't have parties, we don't dance. And then like a lot of talking, you know, then they play 15 minutes music. After we play DJ, they will play music for less than 30 minutes. DJ carry our $500 since it's gone, and we don't dance, we don't enjoy the program. So people have been complaining to me. So with this time around, I decided that, look, if you come to the program, we may get counselor an hour or less than an hour, depending on what you want to do. So right after counselor speaks, you know, and because we got from 5, when the program starts from 7 to all the way 11:30, 12 o'clock, midnight. So could you imagine from 7 o'clock to that time, if the counselor even use 2 hours, and you know the rest of the time will be music, dancing, and then
and also we have to stress the time, because the 7 o'clock, when we actually go there in 7 o'clock, we can actually do a lot before midnight. But some people, if you're hearing us, we want you to make it your duty to come on time, because if you come on time, you're not going to complain about us leaving early, because you will be able to enjoy the full range of 5 hours that you know that will be utilizing. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I also just received calls from North Dakota and Iowa that will be coming with delegation. A delegation will be coming from those 2 places coming to the program, and will be calling me tomorrow for how much tickets I should reserve for them, because we want to make sure I have seats. So if you are in Minnesota and you're listening to me, please, you know, we want to make sure that you come early and grab your seat. Make sure you are seated before 7 o'clock, because if you try to come after 7, this is America, it's not Liberia. You're going to be cold.
You're probably not going to get seat. It's 200 capacity.
Yeah, 200 persons, close to 250 people. And then imagine, I've already sent out like 170 some more tickets already gone out. So I have to reprint tickets for our delegation that are coming from out of state. So it's going to be crowded. And then in this country, if they say 250 capacity, you cannot put 270 or 280. And the police are going to say, look, let some people go outside, and it's too cold. So we don't want to go through all that. So if you buy a ticket,
you can't put more people than...
No, make sure you come early. If you don't come early and you get ticket, when the police come and say the place was crowded, let people go outside, you just turn around your car and go home. and that will not look good. So we beg you, I don't want that embarrassment, and tickets are going. Try to purchase a ticket, and when you purchase a ticket, try to come on time. This is another way to celebrate a holiday. Nothing is happening in Minnesota, so the best way to celebrate a holiday is to come and
it's to give some money to Councillor Gongloe.
Give some money to Councillor. And you have money in your pocket. In your pocket, we're trying to raise $100,000. This is a competition between the Midwest. I know they're listening to me now. Midwest and the East. This is a competition. Minnesota is challenging you, because they asked me, the Midwest asked me to challenge you. It was before Minnesota. So this is a challenge we're trying out. So the Midwest listening to me, in California, everywhere, we're challenging you now. We're going to see who's going to make more. So this is an open challenge.
To the East Coast.
Yeah, for the East Coast.
People from the East Coast, they feel they got money. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Wait, 1 minute before I come to you, there's another big thing that is happening in California, and we wanted Lovette to give us more details. Lovette, you want to say something more about what you have not said about that? Councillor Gongloe becoming guest speaker for the San Francisco University African program.
I have here the flyer. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, I think I can.
It's a little blurry, but I do have a flyer.
Let me see if I can put on the screen for you.
This is a free event at the University of San Francisco. And it says, I will just read some of the contents on here. Liberia, past, present, and future. USF African Studies present Liberian presidential candidate, Councillor Tiawan Gongloe. Councillor Gongloe will be in conversation with elected officials, Supervisor Sherman Walton for the San Francisco President of Board of Supervisor, District 10. Also, Dr. Tuitt, Liberian expert on educational leadership for social justice. There's also Professor James Taylor from the political department from the University of San Francisco. Also, Professor Bill Hink, professors of law and migration studies at the University of San Francisco. And then, of course, they talk about where this event will be held, the date, November 16, 2022, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's going to be on the campus. And so it's a must register. This is an auditorium that holds over 300 people.
And,
so
if somebody wants to reserve their seat, I think
you have to scan that barcode. You have to physically be there. That's what that barcode stands for. You have to physically be there. But however, we will also be releasing a link for those who are out of the state or out of the country or in Liberia or any other part of the world. They can click on the virtual event. We'll have a virtual segment. So that link will be coming out later on. But right now, this one is specifically for in-person registration. And so I spoke to one media journalist, told me, I said, but what is the impact that this event will have on Liberians here in Liberia? I said, there's a window of opportunities we're opening because this is a global stage. This is a platform that Councillor Gongloe would take the issues that is affecting Liberians to the world with hope that help will come to our people, with hope that people would be moved to act, to take a stand, to help our suffering masses in Liberia. So we are not taking this thing lightly. This is why we say it is free, because we want people to have access to him. Because we know that after that, there's more to come.
Okay, thank you very much, Lovette, for that. Again, for those of you who are wondering, if you want, you can contact me, you can contact Joe, you can contact Lovette, and Koba here is already aware of this program. We can give you more information on that. If you want a flyer, we can send a flyer to you. if you want to be physically present, we would love for you to be present because Councillor is going to be speaking to the university about Liberia, about what he thinks about the Liberia. Yes.
Kevin, and one minute, there's something I forgot. You know, Councillor Gongloe has a 10 counts that he's using, you know, and that he always talks about, you know, doing his campaigning, doing his presentation.
The 10-point agenda. The 10-point agenda.
The 10-point agenda has been printed. These are 200 copies of them. Will be in the hall. So a lot of people have been asking for it. So Minnesota has printed 200 copies. You know, this is a 10-point agenda. Yeah, you see, it's in a brochure, in a brochure form. So once you get to the hall, you'll be giving it 1 copy free. You know, so when he's speaking, you can open it and go through it. You know, go through it as he's speaking, talking about the 10 counts, you can go through it. So these are some of the things I would do that makes things easy. You come in and enjoy yourself, make it easy for you. When he's speaking, you can keep going through this. So also will tell you, I want to see this before I even make my decision. A lot of people have been asking for it. You know, because Gongloe be hearing him talking on the air, saying a lot of things. Sometimes I don't have the time to listen to him, but I want to see that 10 counts that he talked about. I want to read it before I make decision. A lot of people have been saying it. So this is why in Minnesota, we printed 200 copies of them to make his job easy. So once you come to the hall, we give you a copy. You can take it home and share with your family and even share with opposition. Opposition are even asking for these 10 counts. They want to see it. So it will give us the easier way of people getting to know Councillor Gongloe and getting to know what he stands for and making a decision. So we have them here. So if you need it, if you've been suffering from it and you listen to us, you can pop in at the program, pay your $25 and enjoy yourself. And we can guarantee you when you come there, if you mean yelling for this, you will have a copy. So
okay, thank you so much. Let me go to Koba. Koba, the second coming and the first coming, what is the second coming going to achieve?
Look, let me say this. I want to first of all congratulate Joe and the people in Minnesota.
Yeah.
When I heard Joe and Lovetta speaking, I started to, you know, feel like what I've been expecting is happening right now. The coordination in Minnesota should be replicated across the U.S. I heard him failing when he said, like, the Midwest. You know, and then he talked about transparency. He talked about accountability. We cannot be working with a president who is an icon of accountability and we work haphazardly. I've been praying and I've been trying to see how we can get the various auxiliary, and I'm not against auxiliary because I run an auxiliary on the Gongloe in Bassa, but we need to get the bigger picture. You know, once we can establish the accountability framework on our leadership at about this time, when we get into government, we are just going to rule, you know, because you see, it starts with us. Accountability and arrangement organizations start with us. Once Minnesota can do it, I have just recently moved into Philadelphia, and what I'm going to do is just what it said. And Joe, I want to suggest this to you and to your group. If that 10 count, you can reproduce some of it and drop it to all of the local restaurants. I want to repeat myself here because I think it's very important. I went to 2 restaurants and I was talking. They said, but we want to hear more about Gongloe, but we have not read. And they suggested to me, you guys print most of his document and drop it to the local Liberian restaurant. People often say, oh yeah, people in America will not vote for Gongloe. Yes, but you know why? And Kevin, if we here, we can talk to 10 persons every week from our backyard in Liberia, we'll be increasing our number over time. So Joe, I want to say thank you very much for establishing the framework that collaboration and organization is hallmark of Minnesota. I hope people in the Midwest or East Coast will also adapt that so we can have accountability and the structural framework that will lead Gongloe to the marshal. Because you know what, Kevin? To the marshal is inevitable. For me, I'm not thinking about election. I'm thinking about inauguration. I'm not thinking how we're going to arrange the hall. Many times when I said, this is a man who is talking about the nuclear component that have brought Liberia where it is today. We talk about corruption every day. The man has said he will battle corruption. You know why people are not supporting Gongloe from the opposition? But thank God that at least I pulled somebody out from one of the opposition party. I'm not going to call near the man and say, look, when I heard Gongloe speaking for the very first time, I made up my mind. This is what we want to be hearing. We want for people to start making up their minds. Liberian people, Gongloe is the best deal. But let me come to your question very quickly, Kevin. The expectation. What I think Liberians will be expecting. And again, I want to say that what I think Liberians abroad will be expecting is Gongloe is the man for the day. You know why? His Nima trip, the Bonkante trip, tells me that Gongloe is in charge. Gongloe is in charge. You know why? Because people thought that money collector were going to use for some other, flamboyant reason. But you saw where Gongloe went.
Let me share what you're talking about. Let me share with the people, the towns Councillor Gongloe visited in Liberia. I think you can see that Councillor Gongloe visited about 102 towns and villages in Nima alone. That's
very well.
Yeah, in Nima alone, 102 towns and villages. Now, he didn't go there to campaign. He went there to tell his people that I am going to undertake a project. And as my parents, as my brothers and sisters, I came to inform you. That is what he did. Go ahead, Koba.
So yeah. So as you were saying, so when I saw this, I felt very, and I want to say, people in California, we will support you with our words, with everything we have to ensure that the program is held. And it's because you know what? I want Gongloe to reach to Sultan. Sultan is the bordering village between Nima and Basso. I want him to reach to St. John. I have told him, town without numbers, Gongloe, you're not going to start to Buchanan. Take it from me. We're not going to allow you to stay in Buchanan. When you go to Basso, you're going to go straight to the border. You're going to start from the border and start coming to Basso. When you reach to Buchanan, Buchanan will be on fire. And you know what? It will not only be on fire for people to see, but will be on fire for winning. Because Liberians have gotten tired with people cheating them with their votes. My guys went to one village, and I will send you the video, Kevin, so you get the guys said, we don't want money from Gongloe. We don't want anything. All we need is development.
We don't want
money. They say we need development. We need our people to change their mind to be able to vote for credibility. So when you talk about credibility, it's Gongloe.
Based on that credibility, Gongloe, let's hear it for himself. We're talking about it. Let him say it for himself.
Okay.
My people of Liberia, living in Liberia and other parts of the world, including the United States of America. Many of you who don't know me by name, I want to let you know that my name is Tiawan S. By training. And I come from a place called Gongloe, about 200 miles away from Monrovia, deep in the forest of Yahweh Statutory District in Nimba County. I went to school in Nimba, in places like Mela, Tapata, Ganta, and Sankole. My first degree was in economics, and I taught economics for 8 years at the University of Liberia. My second degree was in law. I've been a lawyer for 34 years. For most of my practice of law, I've been representing poor people, journalists, human rights advocates, pro-democracy advocates, and people in difficult legal situations. I love helping people. I've also been a critic of bad governance, especially corruption and lack of respect for the rule of law and human rights. In Liberia, over the years, there has been selective application of the law by the police in the street. Our judiciary has not been independent because of the influence of the executive branch of government, especially led by the president of Liberia.
Let me stop here and come back to Koba before I go to Loretta. You talk about him hating corruption, and he just said it for himself.
Kevin, this is not strange. This is the only man that talking about corruption should be aborted. People are not supporting him media because you know what? Many of our people in Liberia still want to keep going out the ways they feel like, being corrupt, doing it the same old way, going to, then if you want to establish a business in Liberia, you will fight your way through. You cannot even meet the objective you set up if you want to establish a project. So many of the people that want to remain where they are, they will not support this man. But you know what? This is why today we are finalizing a program on Abridged TV in Basel. That will be a regular program, and I want everybody to appear. If you can't speak your local dialect, start to learn it right now, because you know what? We're not going to be dwelling in speaking English. I want to speak the Basa, and I want to start right here. Gawa danti I won't say Gongloe or the atra babunya. Beginning work ni mozeni. Kabenia ka chenye. Ga mobe klipa. Okay, you see. Nyokuya wadan corruption ke. Be nyua ke the same. Be a poor somewhere. Or need Zamu. Zamu say Gongloe. Or they be anyade. Beginning work money. Ke beji ga ke kwa bini. Baby Jose. Over to you, my brother.
Let me go back to Tiawan Gongloe. He's speaking more.
Corruption. Our health system has broken down. People cannot get good health system. Today, there's high level of infant mortality rate in Liberia, high level of maternal mortality, and people are dying from easily curable diseases. Every day of the year, you have more children out of school than the children who are in school on any day. That is not good for our country. Education has become so expensive, from pre-primary to primary to elementary and secondary school. The universities are not taken care of. So our university graduates cannot compete with university graduates in many parts of the world, even right in West Africa. We are food insecure.
Let me talk to Joe about the education thing. I think it's one of the 10 points that he raised in his 10 points agenda for the first 100 days when he became president. Joe, you want to speak on the education issue a little bit?
Yeah, for education, if I can go through the 10 points, let me just go directly and quote him. On the 7th one, he said, the school system under the Gongloe administration shall be geared towards producing highly skilled professional Liberians equipped to lead Liberia and capable to functioning in any work environment everywhere in the world, which is very, very important for us. Also, our school should build a vibrant student community that will serve as research-based critics and concerns of our society and a piece of academic freedom and excellence, as well as a venue for promoting accountability, unity, reconciliation, social justice, sustainable peace, economic growth, development, and prosperity. This is very, very important for Liberia. These are the kind of things that we want right now. You know, he spelled it out. And then his system, he always talk about decentralization. Everything that Gongloe does, he planning to decentralize that. So this is an opportunity. This is a very, very big opportunity for Liberia. So I want, as I speak today, I want all Liberians to grab this piece of meat and make sure you share with your family. And there's something that we noticed in the US that I personally also noticed. Personally, I noticed that, you know, our people in Liberia, they don't have direction. And when it comes to election, their minds try to dangle. You know, their minds dangle in a way that when somebody gives them something, it's where they go. They don't have a stable mind. So I want to throw an advice for people that are listening to me in Buchanan, everywhere, you know, in Liberia or around the world.
But Joe, you can speak your dollars, eh? You want to try some?
I'm from Maryland County. I'm sorry. I don't want to speak.
You don't want to speak in the dialect because the way Cover Degenerate are challenged to me, oh. I'm from Maryland County, Hoffman Station, but I don't want to speak my dialect because I don't speak it too well. But there's some message I want to get across to Liberians. What I realized personally is that, and if people can, you know, correct me, I stand to be corrected. And our people, as I said, they have a dangling mind when it comes to election. Somebody who gives them, they don't even know who the person is. They don't care for integrity. They don't care for anything. Once you give them money, you give them back arrest, then they will go and vote for you. So as a result, they threw the country backward.
You know, so the advice I have right now is that people who stay in government, you know, and steal money from government and come to you with the money they give you is your own money they stole from you.
Absolutely.
They stole your
Or they
own
will
money.
steal more.
So if you're hungry, no, what I want to tell the people, if somebody is hungry, I can tell you when a man give you the money, don't take it. If you're hungry, take your money and eat it from him because that's your money in the store. But when you go to the ballot box,
vote for the
you
right
go to
people.
vote right. You know, I can tell you that after the man stole your money and keep it into destitution, you know, he doesn't have time for you. You're hungry. And then you see the stolen money he bring to you, you're hungry, and you're into destitution, you should die with hunger. So use your conscience. Your heart is telling you, look, I need transformation. They may be stealing too much and wasting daily water on me. And one day country will be transformed. So I got somebody on mind to choose, and this person doesn't have money. And I'm hungry, they may make him bring money to me. You know, it's the money he stole from you. Take it and buy your food and you and your family eat.
Okay,
you know?
Joe. Okay, Joe, I want you to hold it there. Let me go back to Tiawan Gongloe, Councilor Tiawan Gongloe. I'll come to you, Lovette. You are next in line to discuss what Councilor Tiawan Gongloe has been saying to the Liberian people in this recording. Let's listen.
According to statistics, out of every 100 bags of rice that we eat in Liberia, more than 80% are imported, which means there is a direct relationship between the price of rice and poverty level in Liberia. When price of rice goes up, Liberians get poorer.
Let me come to Lovette too. Lovette, you talk about agriculture. Recently, we had a catastrophe in Monrovia where the government could not even guarantee the importation of rice by a private agency, and there was shortage of rice on the market. You want to speak to that?
Well, there's a couple of things I want to touch on in this video. And again, thank you so much for allowing me to come to your show. It goes right back to education. They said knowledge is power. When you educate the minds, there's a lot of things that we can do as a society. So part of his agenda, talking about education, making sure that our people can have access to quality education, because if we do have that education and we are equipped with the tools and knowledge, we can sustain ourselves. There should be no reason for Liberia or Africa with vast land and resources to have a food crisis. So there is a need for food security under the Gongloe 10-point agenda. We should not be looking to America to bring our bag of food when we have land to cultivate, to produce our own food. All of this revolves around the education that we will be introducing to our people so that they can fend for themselves and stop being so reliant. It is time to stand up, to cultivate our land. It is time for our children to start dying of starvation when we have the land that needs to be cultivated to produce the food. So yes, it is imperative for our candidate to make this part of his agenda. We should not be begging for food. We should not be waiting for China to produce it for us, or India to produce it for us, or our family member buying bag of rice to mill it to us. We have the land. Let's cultivate it so that we can feed our people.
Let's listen to Councilor Gongloe. Let's listen to the last part. Let's listen to the last clip of Councilor Gongloe for today, and then we will each take a turn on it.
The CDC back to power, we will be committing a national suicide. I want to come to power, to be elected as president, to be a project manager, to redirect the coast of Liberia so that Liberia can be a better country for all Liberians. Today, there are more refugees leaving Liberia, even in the time of peace. And Liberia is experiencing state failure in every aspect of governance, simply because of greed.
Cowboy, before I come to you, let me introduce our veteran editor and a consultant to the Strategic Media Committee of Councilor Gongloe Presidential bid, the Honorable Joe Batwa. Welcome to the program today.
Thank you so much, Brother Jerry. I appreciate it.
Okay, well, I will come back to you, Koba. I want you to comment on what he said, and I want Joe to polish it for us. What he means by he want to be project manager. Why is he not saying I want to be president? Why does he want to be project manager?
Calvin and the rest of the people, look, as a project person myself, I think what Councillor Gongloe is saying, everything that he will do in Liberia, we have what we call performance and operational indicators. And what but let me just go back to the agricultural issue. Go to the agricultural ministry and ask the people how many local farmers in Liberia. Probably they may know just an estimate. When I was a child back home, we used to feed ourselves years round. Today, anyone that calls you from Liberia, instead of them calling you, say, I bought my land, I want to build my house, they will say, please send me back already. It's not easy here. Those days we were 1.5 million. Now we are above. So burn and stash is no more working. This is why Councillor Gongloe has said mechanized farming, where he will provide all the logistics, the machinery, so that people can be able to produce more food. Anyone that feeds you, who has control over your stomach, he will make your decision. But you know why? Gongloe has said project manager. Project manager in this context means everything that we will do, there will be a logical framework that will be able to track down all the indicators every 3 months. The man told you you're going to have an assessment of his audit every period. That is what he means by project manager. Project manager, you're not sitting there, you're measuring the input and the output. That measuring value will give you the information for you to adjust. Adjustment is so key. It is because of this our current government is failing, because in the project you have strategic direction. Do we have strategic direction? No, we don't even have the strategies. If we had strategy, we wouldn't be facing with the problem we face today with the latest, plan, because that is an entire project by itself. Project, for that matter, should have a time frame. You don't just jump on in the start and say tomorrow we're starting. The next day we're starting, and we are preparing people.
I want to hold you right there. Let me go to Mr. Batua. What is the difference between the project manager and a president? Why Councillor Gongloe is not emphasizing president and he's emphasizing project manager? What makes it different?
Thank you so much. Yes, as I've been saying, project manager is, from my perspective, is within the context of our Constitution. Just look at the very first article of our Constitution. It says, power is inherent in the people. So the people of Liberia are the original source of all the power that is being exercised within the corridors of power in Monrovia, at the level of the Executive Mansion, the Capitol Building, the Temple of Justice, and further. So project manager, to me, it connotes that a Tiawan Gongloe administration will be operating with the people in mind, because the people are the source of the power that our the leaders or the rulers in Liberia now exercise. But what happened is, right after election, after they have made all the fabulous promises to the people, and right after election, they become oblivious of the people. And then they start doing their own things. So at the moment, the rulers in Monrovia are not even thinking about the people. Let's face it. Whether it is during the zombie dance or the booga dance, it is mainly about the clique of rulers. So Councillor Gongloe is saying that he wants to take power to the people. That's why even now that at the moment a formal campaigning has not begun, he recently embarked on a tour of the various counties, starting with Bond County. Then right after that, he went to Nimba. And some of the people were telling him that that is their first time, their very first time, seeing a presidential candidate. So we have been giving leadership, we as a people have been giving leadership to people based on superficial reasoning. So the country wants to take presidential, electoral politics, especially presidential politics, to a very high, to a higher standard, so that you don't, as he has already indicated, re-electing George Weah will be like you are committing socio-economic political suicide. Because this guy is not doing anything other than just see what's going on.
He said that the country is in an ICU. Joe, I want you to hold on. There's something he said here. I want you to comment on it.
Incompetence, ignorance, and arrogance. We need to change that. I've been a poor man's lawyer.
Joe, he talking about the arrogance of power. He said the current government and its officials are full of arrogance, they're full of incompetence. I mean, I don't know, arrogance. I want you to define it for me. What is he talking about?
Yeah, he's talking about arrogance that is actually shrouded in ignorance. Yeah, to be arrogant is not just if the person is arrogant and this person is informed, intellectually inclined, that's better. But arrogance that is driven by ignorance is very dangerous. Yeah, right after the 2005, the first round of the 2005 election, when many people at that time, the now president was the shining star, some politicians were emotional and they started giving their support to Weah for the second round. Dr. H. Boyman Famble Jr. made a statement that just clicked with me. Even though he had been very critical and he was a candidate in the first round, in the second round he said he would give his support to then candidate Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And he made a statement to the effect that it would be better to support someone who, when a person becomes president, if he Famble is criticizing that person, the person will understand why he's criticizing her, instead of someone that he will just support emotionally. And when the person becomes president, even the criticism, they will not take it kindly because they will not even comprehend the essence of the criticism. And that's what's happening now. There are very few people behind within the circle of President Weah at the moment, and they know that there are few people there, like the level of the finance ministry, the other guy who appeared on his name is Eugene Nagbe, who appeared on Spoon TV recently, and Barmouth, Councillor Gongloe. They understand, by virtue of their education, they understand that. But the president himself, with his limitation, he does not really understand what's going on. But what they have there is they have the mentality, the conqueror mentality. They believe that by being elected in 2017, they own everything in Liberia. And they believe that they are invincible. So as a result, many of them being who they are, including the ones that were recently sanctioned, they take our people for granted.
Take our people for granted, Joe. I want you to hold it there. I want you to hold it there, Joe. And Lavetta, you will be the last person to comment on
Yes.
to comment on this video, and then you can say what you want to say, and then we'll do away with this video, and we'll go back to your information on the university, and Joe will come back to the fundraiser. But let's listen to this and let Lavetta respond to him.
The auditors will come first to the president. We want to lead by example.
I want to play it back. I want to start from the place I want to start it from. I'm sorry.
Who engages in corruption? So the auditors will come first to the president. We want to lead by example. Mr. President, this is the full value of your assets, your salaries, and benefits. How come your billion and 5-story building that is worth $500,000? If I can't explain, I will resign. But I'll do no such disgraceful thing. Therefore, if the auditors report to me that the ministers are spending above their income, they are living luxury lifestyle, I will dismiss any minister who is identified by the audit report and turn him over or her to the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission for full investigation and prosecution.
Lavelle, I want to come to you, and Joe has the 10 agenda point there, and I think Joe Bato will also comment, and Koba will comment. He said lifestyle audit. Joe, you want to read that lifestyle audit for us? There's something in there about lifestyle audit. Let Joe read that, and then Lavelle is going to comment on that.
Well, can you give me some time to guests come to it and come by there?
Okay, I think I gave you too much history. Something I can just go right here and get it. Let me just get it quickly here. 10 points right here. Okay, right here. If you get it, let me know. If you get it before me, let me know. But I'm sure I'll get it before you. If you get it before me. But Lavelle, I'll come to you on the lifestyle audit, and not just the lifestyle audit, talking about the auditors will be giving the chance to do their work. Let me go to a lifestyle audit really quick.
Mr. Gibson, before I talk on that, I just wanted to piggyback.
Yes.
And talk about the emphasis that he put on arrogance and ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
When we hear the same old song over and over again from politicians. So yes, as I watch this video as an ordinary Liberian who have a candidate saying, I will fight corruption, the Liberian people say, but I already heard this. The people said they will fight corruption. Giving example, let's go look at Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Mm-hmm. She was going to tackle corruption, but instead she married corruption once the Liberian people elected her. The same goes for President George Weah, former ambassador for the UNICEF, who was advocating for accountability and holding people accountable for the crimes against humanity, for the crimes committed against the Liberian people, for the children that were recruited as child soldiers in our country. President George Weah instead brought a bunch of rebels, men and women that raped and killed our children. So the emphasis of ignorance when you are given power cannot be underestimated.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me read that. Let me read up that. That's it. First, that's the number one. That's the number one point for the 100-day agenda. It's on the screen. It's on the screen. It's on the screen. Joe, you want to read it from the screen, or I can read it?
I can read it from here.
Okay, go ahead.
Number one, there will be zero tolerance for corruption under a Gongloe government within the first 100 days through and review of all audit reports done by the GAC will be carried out. That review will determine prosecution and make recommendations on those that may be statute bearer. The administration will commission return audits, including lifestyle audit of all public servants.
Thank you very much. Lavelle, you want to comment on that?
I think it's going right back to what I was about to get into.
You were already in line.
But we talk about corruption.
Yes.
We hear politicians talking about it, but then when it comes to it, when they get elected into position, they do the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
But under the Gongloe 10-point agenda, he is emphasizing.
And you know, the part like
emphasizing. And this is why I'm going to say this, because you know why? I said we can talk the talk, but again,
somebody has to walk the walk.
Mr. Gongloe, when you become president, are you going to do what you say you're going to do?
Correct.
When election time?
Correct.
So this is how unique California have done its campaigning. We have people in our camp here in California that will hold.
I like the way you call California.
That will hold Councilor Gongloe feet to the fire. We have activists. We have institutions to ensure that what Councilor Gongloe has preached during campaign season will be fully implemented. So California have voices and men and women to ensure that he will follow through what he promised the Liberian people in order to make Liberia a better place.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
One of the things I also wanted to say,
go ahead.
Look at the man's track record. Look at his track record. And based on that, you know what he represents. He's the man of law. And therefore, we know that he will be there to enforce the law. Under his administration, you're not coming to steal. And this is why people may probably be having reservation, because you know how it is. When political parties is formed, people want to see how they can get on the bandwagon. Because why? That's their chopping ground. Liberia has become an elephant meat, but it's not going to be under the Gongloe's administration.
Thank you very much. Let me, we got limited time here. We got 32 minutes to be here, but I'm going to maximize the 32 minutes to benefit out of it. I will go to Koba and I will go to Joe for us to discuss this. And Joe Bato will be the last person to talk about this this lifestyle audit. Let me go to Koba. Corruption is people have talked about corruption all the time. Why should we believe Gongloe?
Because, and that was the last statement I was just about to make when I went off the line. But let me say this. Back to the project manager, Gongloe is sticking to money for value. Money for value. I don't know whether Gibson, you ever watched the video when Gongloe got stuck in the mud from Ward Diala to Tapeta. During the Ebola, I was in Tapeta, and I know from Ward Diala to Tapeta is less than.
I need that video to play it. Let somebody say, I need that video.
And then the raw conditions, somebody started saying, but yeah, we'll keep putting the picture up. I said, yeah, we'll keep putting it up until you can open your eyes and see it. Because people are rejected to accept that things that are going on in Liberia is wrong. People just want to reject it outrightly. Why are you keep putting the picture up? But we have bio medicine now. So where's the bio medicine we're talking about here? That nobody can come from the Southeast. So money for value is going to be number one on, and this is where people find it very critical to support this man, because you know what? When you talk about auditing, they're like, oh, this man going to be looking behind us? That's what we need. Because of corruption, thousands of children in Boko Jide, they are not in school, they don't have access to quality health care. Because of corruption, our mothers remain to die behind their houses. You know it, in the 21st century. So you know what? It is so expedient, and not only expedient, but it's expedient and necessary that let's start audit. We try to make, we're not going to get rid of corruption. It's not going to happen anytime too soon, but we're going to minimize it to the bare minimum. That nobody will feel the pinch of corruption. Corruption is killing us. Corruption is in the ministry. Corruption is at the president. Corruption everywhere. And so Gongloe is going to ensure that the Leicester audit, he said they will prosecute you, you will be sent to court, and your property, those things, you think people want for their property to be taken away from them? You think the people in the house want to reject not accepting 30,000? You think our people want to reject a brown envelope? But this is a man that said, look, if we stop all of these things and we put the money in development, we have affordable, accessible, and available healthcare for our people. We have quality education. This time around, graduation has been commercialized. Even somebody in the ABC, they say they graduated, they should pay $50. Our people have no hope. Our people have no hope. So education is supposed to be of quality value. This is why we are discussing the quality of education, and I hope Lavetta will come tomorrow and our brother Joe will come tomorrow on the platform. Education is so expensive in Liberia.
I'm uninvited. I will come tomorrow, maybe.
You should come. You're not uninvited. You're part of the family. Education is so costly, but the quality is so weak, and nobody cares. But again, I want to tell the better people, back to you.
Oh my God! Come on. Joe, I will come to you, but I want Brother Batua to speak on the Brother Batua on the screen. Are the 102 villages, towns, and cities that Councilor Gongloe travel in throughout NEMA? What is the message coming from this enormous travel of this town? What message does it send out there?
Well, looking at the number of youth, did you say
102?
102. Okay. There are 741 towns and villages in Nimba County. So going to 102 is not yet 50%. But what?
So you don't want him to go more?
Yeah. What a travel of Councilor Gongloe, because that was a listening tour that he just embarked on.
A listening tour, yes.
Okay. Gongloe is culturally oriented. The LPP convention took place on the 15th and the 16th in Banga, Bon County, at which he was elected as the standard bearer. His late mother came from Bon County, so he started a tour in Bon County. Traditionally, where your mother comes from is the people that I call your uncles.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to his uncles to say, look, as a politician, if it was to be in the typical village where a hunter went to hunt and kill an elephant they will come to town and inform the people, and then the people will begin to rejoice. Now in politics, presidential politics, being elected standard bearer, presidential candidate, like the hunter in the village killing an elephant or killing a lion, for example. So he went and informed his uncles first, and then they wholeheartedly accepted that. Then from there, he went to Nimba County and he embarked on the tour. But what the tour, which is still in progress, has exposed is our adept underdevelopment.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have been talking about bragging about being the oldest independent country in Africa over the years. But see, just Gibson, you see for yourself our underdevelopment. When people are in Monrovia, the Tottenham Boulevard that I was born at, and I saw over there, that I've been there from the 50s, from the early 50s. They're not even they're not planning. The time those roads or those streets were made in Monrovia, at that time Monrovia population was about 80,000. Now it is estimated to be more than 1 million. So if you really have a government that is focused on improving the plight of the people, they will start thinking about what lies ahead. But now let's forget about Monrovia. In the past, presidential candidates have been going to places like Banga, maybe Kakata or Ganta. Gongloe went to some of those villages. When he was going, the meeting, he got prepared. The team carried a lot of shovels. They carried chainsaw, because some of those feeder rows, some of them were made manually. There were no yellow machine those days. Some of them were made by logging companies. They just put few logs on the creeks, and their truck made their way to haul their logs. So since 1980, after the coup, we are not heard government talking about farm to market road anymore. It was William Torbert that used to talk about that. So we are comparatively looking at Ivory Coast, our eastern neighbor, and Liberia. We are almost zero in terms of infrastructural development. So that one of the things that the tour exposed, we are underdeveloped. We shouldn't be sitting down in Monrovia. There people be doing booga dance, then people are cheering them. Booga dance or zombie dance is just a display of ignorance, a display of a don't care mentality. Another thing that the tour has done, has brought to the limelight is that just as I indicated first, presidential politics has been taken to a higher standard, because people appear in Monrovia and give speech and promise us heaven, and then we give them the presidency. Gongloe decided that to be the project manager to bring a very new paradigm in national development, he has to go to the people who are the source of power and authority. So he's on a listening tour to the people, consulting with the people, and the people themselves, they feel empowered because they are seeing a presidential candidate for the first time, so that they too will be involved in the decision-making process of the national government process of our country. And another thing there is that there are some people who want to use our political system as they consider the Liberian presidency as a sort of retirement job. Some of them were here in the U.S. They pretended to be Americans until they got retired, before they went to Liberia and they want to sit in Monrovia and claim the presidency. But with the tour, Gongloe has demonstrated how he's culturally oriented, how he's involved in the Liberian culture, because some of the welcoming ceremony by the older people, and how socially congenial and gregarious he is. He's not somebody who is discriminatory, that will go somewhere, even when the older people come near, you can't shake their hands, or when they do their traditional welcoming with the white cola nut, and they eat certain part of it and give it to you, you will shun it. No, that has not been the case. So the people, they feel that what the Brown Revolution is resonating. If you hear the Eugene Nagbe, or even at the level of the Supreme Court, the new Chief Justice is trying to do a sort of political stint for the government court, saying that Gongloe was engaged in some unprofessional behavior by representing his client like 2 years ago, is because the broom is making inroads. The broom revolution is here to stay, and it's resonating with the people. The people are welcoming. They are seeing a genuine leader, a leader who cares about people, who cares about the future of the country. Gibson, you are in this country. When last you went to a grocery store and saw an agricultural product there made in Liberia? We see made in Ghana, made in Cote d'Ivoire, made in Sierra Leone. When last you saw made in Liberia? That's difficult. I don't think it takes billions of dollars or even millions of dollars to, for example, make a garri in Liberia. or to make ground cassava leaf in Liberia or canned palm butter in Liberia and send it here. If we were to have a government that opened the opportunity for people to do that, and Liberians in the diaspora were to go to a grocery store and find, for example, orange juice that is marked made in Liberia, that would be a source of inspiration, a source of pride for our compatriots here, for ourselves. So we need a government that is forward-looking. And Gongloe is taking this future government to the people, and this is resonating with the people. So George Weah and his cliques seem to be panicking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as he was speaking, we're showing you pictures and videos from the travel in Nima County. So we have too many of them, as you see here. These are some of the pictures, videos when he visited these towns. And so let me go. Before we go, let me go to Joe to have a say on these what we have just discussed. Joe, you want to say something before I can go to any of you for your closing comments?
Yeah, things that we'll be discussing. Let me just talk about my own little knowledge of being the project manager. Because Gongloe says I want to be a project manager. Before you decide to be a project manager, you must have known about that project very well. You cannot be a project manager without knowing about the project. And Councillor Gongloe has been in government, and he has been working with the late Emot Sorio, who was once interim president, and then he got close to the presidency by knowing a lot of how it functions. So that whole scenario, it's a project. So he knows, he has an experience, he had a lot of experience. So when becoming a president, before you become a president, if you have that experience, it's better to have the experience before becoming a president. So you can't jump and be president without having experience. So he got that experience already. So he feels he has that experience, so he can better manage the country. And likewise, other people who don't have the experience and want to manage a project, that is a different thing. If you don't have experience, look, for example, George Weah doesn't have the experience to manage the project. He wants to be a project manager, or he is a project manager, and he does not have the experience to manage that project. That's why the country is going as it is, because he doesn't have that experience. For Councillor Gongloe trying to say, let me be your project manager, let me have enough experience. That experience I have it already. Since I have that experience already, I can better become your project manager. That's what he's saying. So he's the best project manager for Liberia now. And then when you look at Liberia again, you realize that the entire country is in the ICU. The corruption put the country in the ICU. And we know what is ICU in the hospital. When in ICU, you're between life and death.
Yes.
So before you get out of ICU, you need a good doctor that can give a very good prescription. Not just any doctor. Liberia now, because it's in the ICU, you got a lot of doctors around. So the doctors are the presidential aspirant.
And we also have quacks around.
Yeah.
So we have to look at
but then you have to have a good doctor who knows the proper medication, to get you out of the ICU. Among all the doctors that are there right now, the only doctor that got a proper medication right now to get the country out of ICU is Councillor Gongloe. Let's face it, it's a fact. It's a fact because of the track record. So we follow him because of the track record. So if you don't want to know Gongloe, just follow his track record. Know what he's been doing, what he has gone through. He put his life down for this country. He almost died for Liberia. Which of the candidates ever done that? Nobody. So, this is a man. If a man tells you, look, audit me after every month or 2 months, you will know he's not afraid of anything. He's not afraid. That's what he said. There should be this system of auditing government officials, which is a very good system. Many people do not like him. The opposition right now, and the only reason why they do not like Councillor Gongloe is because of that auditing. Because they feel that Liberia is the elephant meat and he wants to spoil the eating. The country can never, it does not have to be that all the time. It's not a country to just be eating.
Yeah.
To say you want to spoil our eating. We must stop that. Like our brother said, we cannot automatically stop corruption, but we can minimize corruption at the lowest level. And gradually it will go away. So Councillor Gongloe is going to minimize corruption, you know, and he's the right doctor, as I said, to administer the right drugs for the ICU. Because Liberians, if you don't choose a right doctor among all the doctors that are there right now, you're going to go into other coma, you know, and when you get into coma, there's a possibility that you may not come back. And, you know, and Liberia is not ready to go into coma right now. So we better take the right doctor and then you get a right prescription so we can get out of ICU. That's what I have to say.
All right, thank you very much.
Besides that,
your analogy.
Yeah, before I go, and you know, this is why we're trying to raise. I can't forget this part. This is what makes Councillor Gongloe. We're trying to raise money so that we can have the right doctor to rescue this country from the ICU, to rescue the country from destitution. We all know that right now is in destitution. The poor people. Have you ever heard since we've been having our country, our Christmas was celebrated well? This government is the only government where our own people, when you send them money, Christmas season, I remember one of these years, they went to the bank to get the money to celebrate Christmas. There was no money in the bank. Why? How can you go for your money and then you say you're relating money, then you go to the bank to receive the money with a slip? They only got slip, then they'll tell you no money in the bank. They can't get money. Some people got the money after the season. So that's why we need to get that country out of the ICU, because the doctor that is there is not the right doctor. So let me push my point. My point is money. We must raise money to put the right doctor there. So if you are listening to me and you reason what I'm saying, you reason with my thoughts, I'm going to give you our Cash App number. You know, you don't have to be in Minnesota before you put in money. I will read the Cash App number slowly, and then you can write it down and contribute any amount you want to contribute to ensure that we raise $100,000. This is not only Minnesota alone. This is the Midwest. So I'm going to read the Cash App number right now. Our Cash App is $FOG Minnesota. So if you can't spell Minnesota, I will spell it for you. Okay, $FOG MINNESOTA. That is $FOG Minnesota. So the next one, our Zelle account is Teams Gongloe MN, which is Minnesota, at gmail.com. If you can't spell it, I don't want any excuse. So, oh, he called it Teams Gongloe. I don't know how to spell it. That's why I didn't put my Zelle. So let me spell it for you. TEAM. Team. That's one word. There's no separation. One word. Team. Okay. Again. TEAMGONGLOEMN at gmail.com. That is our Zelle. So you can put in any amount, you can be any part of the world, and then we need your contribution so we can put the right doctor, you know, for our country, because the country is in the ICU. All those other doctors, they don't have the right prescription. Please, we don't want to go in coma. And, you know, yeah, so we want the right doctor so we can get out of ICU. And we can only put him there by you contributing some money, you know, for this doctor to go into the ICU. That's why I read our Cash App. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Somebody is playing audio. I think somebody audio is on. Okay. There you go. Thank you. I want to say thank you. Joe Mullenberg is the executive director of Friends of Gongloe, Minnesota. We see the Cash App $FOG Minnesota, and you are going to make your contribution. Please don't bring cash to the fundraiser. They don't want to handle any cash. But we got a Koba, and then Joe Batra is going to be the last. Let me go to Lavette. Lavette, tell us about your event.
Hey, I'm surprised that I'm still here on your show, Mr. Getsy. I told you, I said, I'm only going to give you 30 minutes of my time.
I'm surprised. I didn't even ice cube. I didn't even bother the ice cube. Because
I said, only 30 minutes.
She already
see, I'm so excited.
How they can hold people. They just came for 10 minutes.
I am so excited, and I want those who are listening to the sound of my voice to hear this. Liberia in 2023 can no longer be an office space. Liberians can no longer allow their back to be bent for any Tom, Dick, and Harry to come from any country to come to Liberia to say they want to rule Liberia. Yesterday, I was on the phone speaking to a Liberian, my fellow Liberian in Liberia. He said, oh, you're in the diaspora, you're so excited about election, but the people here, they're more worried about their food. Why are we so excited here in the diaspora? We're excited for change because of Councillor Gongloe. We know that with his leadership, our people won't be crying for food. Our children will have access to quality education. There will be growth and development during his administration. We are excited because he is the hope for a better Liberia for all Liberians, regardless of tribes, regardless of political affiliation. So my fellow Liberians, let's not make any mistake in 2023. Gongloe is suitable for this job. He knows your pain because he lived in it. Don't be fooled in 2023. Make the right choice. Support Councillor Gongloe. As much as we have few states here in America promoting, supporting Councillor Gongloe, I charge every state where there are Liberians to stand up and support Councillor Gongloe. We know what is at stake. And so we appeal to your hearts. Financially, emotionally, we want you to get involved one way or the other.
Okay. Ooh, thank you very much. This is the person who told me I'm only coming at 10 minutes. Don't waste my time, no problem. Now we're going beyond more than 30 minutes. Koba, you still playing the audio? I'm trying to make your.
I think someone is calling me, and so when I get in off, they keep calling me. So
okay, so go ahead, make your comment before we let you go.
Okay, so let me say this, and I want to say thank you for allowing me to be on your platform for the very first time. I support Councillor Gongloe. I am August born. I go in 100%. Anything I want to go in, I go in 100%, and I'm supporting Councillor Gongloe. I was shocked the last time. I want to make the revelation will be my last word here. Somebody in the legislature, especially a senator, was speaking on radio that they were paying volunteer teachers at this age. I thought that person would have been telling us we are inviting the Minister of Education to answer to why quality education is not being achieved or qualified teachers are not in the classroom. And you're telling me I'm paying volunteer teachers on my payroll? That is a sin. And that is the issue where Councillor Gongloe has said Liberia is in the ICU. That's part of the ICU. Before you can get into the ICU, you must have increased respiration. You must have high fever. Probably you are paralyzed. So educational wise, if a senator can be paying volunteer teachers, that educational system is paralyzed. And that should not be a word of a senator. But again, I want to say to the Liberian and the people back home, we are opting for what we call return on investment. Liberia is so old, 175 years and change. And we stay here talking about education, man. And we're still here talking about quality health care. And many of the folks back will say, you're not in Liberia, you're still more from our politics. Or you get politics in Liberia, or then when you need our help, you call us. But when it comes to us treating the country to be a country that I will want to go in for weak earn, you're telling me that it's not my business? It is our business. We'll put our mouth inside. Everything will be inside. We'll send our money. We'll support Gongloe. Comes October, Gongloe, the next president, Republic of Liberia. I tell you about that.
Thank you very much. I like the way you get talking. Let me read a few of the comments here before we go to Mr. Joe Batua. Thanks so much for the update. I am George Carr, following from Monrovia. And this one is also coming from Sylvester Yelia says, my people, y'all please help us make our country Liberia better. Liberia is going back to the days. Sylvester Kalutwa Yelia from UAE, Dubai. And this one is coming from Honorable George Wiakase. I do appreciate your effort, Mr. Joe Mullenberg. And this one is coming from Edith Gongloe, where says, this is phenomenal with an exclamation mark. And say hats off to you guys, to you all guys. And Sylvester Yelia says, this is what we call leadership. And Dixon B. Morris says, he's following from Boston, Massachusetts, but this is Yinin Guva A. San says, corruption thrives in Liberia because corrupt officials are not punished. And that's why we want to make sure that corrupt officials are punished, and only Tiawan Gongloe has the guts to do that. Is Dixon B. Morris says, thanks to all the studio guests for your time and contribution. Keep the fire burning. And Yini San comes back. Councillor Gongloe has the moral acumen and work experience to lead Liberia from the get-go. He doesn't feel he doesn't have. And this is coming from Elijah N. says, you're just sitting in the U.S. there, talking nowhere up, just to put us together. You're nowhere. and coming from Stephen Williams, watching from Grand Jeddah Zuedru. Thank you very much. Let's go to my big brother and senior editor consultant for the media committee, Joe Batua, to close this off.
Thank you so much, Roger. Brother Manimba was talking about Liberia being in an ICU. Just imagine taking a family member or a relative or friend to an ICU. And somebody came to you and said, this other doctor that is coming to take care of your family member was the last, to have graduated in his class. Will you be comfortable with that? No. But if they were to bring an experienced surgeon to say, yeah, there is a veteran, somebody of the late Dr. Bronsky type, caliber, then you will feel confident. So I agree with Brother Malimba that this gentleman, he has experience. That is, Councillor Tiawan Gongloe has experience both in and outside of Liberia. So he's the best person to get a job done after the October 14, 2023 election. When Councillor was on the tour the other day, he talked about watching on radio Cllr. He talked about going to Butu and standing on the Kavala River and seeing the Kavala River forms the boundary between Liberia and Ivory Coast. And he said the part of, in fact, where he was standing, Liberia is so dark. Then when you check across the river on the Ivorian side, street lights are all over. So that you can see the stark difference. Yes. So we need a leader. Let me give another example. The current president of Tanzania, who is a female, she decided to publish her annual salary. Her annual salary is $42,000. On paper, okay, not only that the annual salary is $42,000, but the current annual budget of of Tanzania is more than $1 billion, several $billion. Let's say about $30 to $40 billion. Liberia's current budget is about $885 million. Our president's annual salary on paper is $200,000, even though upon taking over in 2018, he claimed that he was to reduce his salary 25%. But in the current budget, $12 million was allocated specifically for the president's office for touring the country, which he is not to give any account of how he uses that. Our current president just left the country for about 8 weeks, and to go watch his son playing, not for Liberia, but for the United States, he will spend 9 days, like an ordinary person, 9 days. You can stay in Liberia and watch your son playing in the World Cup, but to go watch Timothy Weah playing for the U.S. in Qatar during the World Cup, which starts on the 20th of November, he will spend 9 extra days there. At least when you are president, if it is a must that you must go there, after one game, you should leave. But you can't be there and be hanging around, like unwelcome guests. It's when this man came to watch his son play. His son played the other day. It's 9 extra days that he will be spending in this place. You have a president acting like that? A president that when he goes somewhere, there's sort of be security paid for by the state, by the taxpayers, acting like that, like an ordinary ghetto boy. So it is just unfortunate. The situation we are in, when Councillor Gongloe talks about, lifetime audit in Liberia, okay, as I've been saying, a fish begins to rot from the hair. Tiawan S. Gongloe is the best person to lead us so that we'll set standard in Liberia. The lifetime audit is in a way that he's saying that as president, he will publish his own salary, so that already the few properties he had is known, so that when he comes to power, because President Weah came to power and built 47 luxurious houses for himself. Where he got the money from, we don't know. But we know that he took $25 million US dollars from the central bank in Monrovia, and he said he was carrying it somewhere in the market to mop up, quote unquote, mop up the economy, which is outside of his constitutional bounds. So all these things are happening. And when Councillor says lifetime audit, it shouldn't be like, oh, this guy, the whole managing director of LPRC, what do you expect? So he goes and start doing all kinds of things, building all kinds of compounds all over the place. And then people, the society, had no qualms with that because this guy is a managing director of LPRC or he's a minister of finance. We had to set standard. Liberia has an opportunity in 2023 for a forward-looking leader who will set standard, just as he has indicated, who will be the project manager, so that a new paradigm in good governance will finally, be established in Liberia. Thank you. Your volume is not on.
I want to say thanks to all of you for coming on. I appreciate it. We're going to do this. I'm going to be inviting Gongloe's supporters to come on here and dissect the issues. And I'll be calling on some of you again. And Lavetta, thank you for going beyond your 30 minutes. And you're almost 2 hours now. So, all right, guys, thank you very much. If we'll just play some music, and then we'll say goodbye to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you.
Alpha.
Nenia na kamie. Nenia ni kama Nenia na kamie. Nenia ni kama
Ima to Kenya.
Onenu le bagango. Onenu le
igamo. Young player, Muntia Pao. Young Basio. Young player, Muntia Pao. Teta we a teta, teta we a teta, teta we a teta, teta we a teta. Mama we, ah we, Papa we, ah yeah we. Nani bene I will remember. I went. Nani bene I will remember. I went.
Nenia na kamie. Nenia ni kama Nenia na kamie. Nenia ni kama